Okay. Good morning. Today is the regularly scheduled June 3rd meeting of the Board of Selectmen. It is 8:30 a.m. In front of you, you have this morning's agenda. Do I have any additions or corrections to the agenda?
None here.
Yep. Oh, good. Okay. We're just going to be making a modification to item number 10 with the numbers, but I don't think we need to amend the agenda. The dollar figures are going to change. Okay. So if I could get a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second. It's unanimous. And then we have the minutes from our regularly scheduled meeting on May 20th. Did I get a motion to approve those minutes?
So move.
Second.
It's unanimous. Public comment. Members of the public are welcome to provide comments to the Board of Selectmen on agenda topics scheduled for review and or vote. Comments submitted electronically should be sent to the following email address: bosdistribution@newcanaanct.gov. Any comments from the public? Okay, great. So the first item on our agenda is the purchase order increase. Could I get Cheryl Jones? Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I am here to present or to ask for an increase in the PO for retirees. We had an 8.5% increase in January of last year for the benefits for retirees. So in speaking with Ann, we decided to kind of see how the year would be, wait for the last bill and see where we were going to be. So we are needing $23,000 to cover retiree health benefits to finish out the year. So that is for retirees with AMWINs and retirees with Cigna.
I just want to make sure I understand. So these are the other post-benefit employment benefits,
Correct.
which we have 80% funded, or that account is pretty. So this is this a current expense, or are we taking it out of the funded?
It'll be tapping in, like you said, it is in the Internal Revenue Service Fund. So it'll be tapping into just the reserves that we have.
Okay.
But our trend has been that we're probably going to break even for the year, even with this. And we have the town side has about a $700,000 reserve in there that we typically never touch.
Right. So there's no kind of
There's no operating
contingencies or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so I understand it. So what we cover in the other post OPEDs, right? Is it gets people, does it get them to Medicare? I never quite asked what it gets. You know, what do we cover?
them to 65 when they're eligible.
Right.
It depends on the union contract, and I can sit or present to you. So if you're a police officer and you retire at 50, you stay on our benefits until 65, and you would pay a certain percentage into that. Then when you go to 65, you would go to a Medicare supplement plan, and that would cover you till death.
Yeah, so we're basically just that bridging between that. Okay, thanks. I just want, I should have known that, but I just wanted to make sure I had.
Any other questions?
No questions.
Okay. So if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Human Resources Director to increase a previously approved purchase order with AMWINs by the amount of $23,000.
So move.
Second.
It's unanimous. Okay, full-time employees, come on up, Brian.
I am very happy to be here to present Ryan Stacy. He has taken over for Josh, and I have to tell you, from an HR, I was very worried because Josh was a very hard role to fill, and we were lucky enough to work with a temp agency that told us they had an individual who knew Munis, and we've heard that before. And Ryan came in and he shocked us. He is a Munis super user. He knows Excel like I've never seen anybody. He has really implemented a lot of different systems to help us within finance. Before he came to us, he was with the city of Danbury from 21 to 25. He has his MBA. And as I said, he's a Munis and Excel super user, and he's also a certified payroll professional. So he is going to be our backup in payroll. So we are thrilled to have him and hoping that you approve his hire.
Do you have any questions?
Cheryl. I can't say it any better. Yes, very, very good. Very good. Yeah.
Great. I mean, everything I've, seen, he's already presented to the Board of Finance, like within his first month. So I was like, wow, how's that going to go? And he did a great job. So,
Excellent.
we're thrilled to have you here, Ryan. And,
Any huge differences between Danbury and?
Pretty significant.
It was like years late.
They had a hard time. They brought in an assistant director, did kind of bring that up, but.
Yeah, but it was
hard time.
years late. Yeah.
Anytime we talked about munis and regular accounting, and the difference is it's amazing. It's like two different worlds. So finding someone who is as versed in munis is amazing. So kudos to you guys.
And it's funny because when the temp agency told us that, we're like, sure. And we brought him in and we were like, yeah, no, he really knows it. So.
well, we were having him go through some of the risk pool stuff with properties. And I said, oh, why don't you have him, take this file and merge it with the other one? Like 2 seconds.
He'd already done it.
2 seconds.
Great.
So we're so thank you. All right, if there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Human Resources Director and the Chief Financial Officer to hire Ryan Stacy as Manager of Budgeting and Financial Systems.
Enthusiastically, yes.
Second.
All right, it's unanimous.
Welcome aboard.
Congratulations and thank you, Ryan. Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
We are.
Oh, that's.
I know. All right, just because it's you, Alan, you can count. Is that all right? Are you guys okay with public comment? Come on, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
You
yeah,
have to come to the mic.
You were here on time. You were just in the bathroom, so we know that.
It was here.
Oh, the whole world, yeah.
I just wanted to say the parade and the memorial and the what happened on to recognize Memorial Day. It was really fantastic. Everybody was there. Everybody was happy. Everybody was orderly. The whole thing went off perfectly. And there are many people involved in organizing and executing such a complicated event with kids from age 3 to old people like me in 93. So, but just, it was a great event. It was a wonderful day. Just want to thank everybody for everything they did.
A big shout out to the VFW and Mike McGlynn in particular for all his efforts behind the scenes, along with my administrative assistant, Pam Flynn, who helps with all the coordination of all the groups. And then, the VFW found the speaker for this year, who was really amazing. And I've gotten so much feedback about Charles's Major Paxey's address. So, it was a great day. The weather was perfect, and just
Yeah,
everybody.
after a week of rain,
Yes.
you ordered up a really nice day. So that was,
I couldn't have 2 years in a row of canceling the parade. So, yeah, thank you, Alan. That was great. Okay, so moving on to postage and printing. Sebastian Calderella. You don't get to see you enough, Sebi. I'm sure you're thrilled.
Getting ready to come out. Good morning. I'm here to request approval to enter into contract with QDS Quality Data Services in the amount of $38,500 postage, printing, and other contract services they give us. This is associated with the 2025 tax collection that start date, and that the money's already in the budget for the 26 budget.
yeah, this is the company we've always used, or at least recently used, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No change there.
Any other questions? All right, if not, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the tax collector to enter into a contract with QDS in the amount of $38,500 for postage, printing, and service contracts associated with the July 1, 2025 tax collection start date.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank
you.
you.
That's it.
Let's see.
My downloads aren't
Mine
coming
aren't going either.
Yeah.
That's what I'm having. You've got the magic thing.
up.
Mine are-
Your downloads are coming up?
Go get out of your
Exit.
Wi-Fi and then get back.
Okay, thank
Oh,
you.
okay. Thank you. We're having tech issues up here. You can go ahead though.
Okay.
That's fine.
I am here with Human Services to request an already approved PO, an increase in it of $6,000 to New Canaan Cares as for educational programs. The funds will be coming from the YSB grant that we weren't really aware of what we would have the last time I was here asking for PO, but we are just asking for an increase.
And Marcy, what's that money used for?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Used for a bunch of educational programs that they, family wellness programs, navigating mental health. There are a couple talks with Dr. Raquel Harrison, parents under pressure, conversations about parental stress, nutrition, wellness and fitness with Dr. Katie, a bunch of assorted programs like that.
Great programs for the
So
community.
with this additional, you didn't know how much we're going to get. So with the additional money, you've added things to your
Correct.
schedule. Okay.
Although next year we've accounted for the YSB grant in our budget. Just this past year, we weren't really.
Right. It's this, yeah.
Just
How we were paying things versus out of the general fund versus through grant funding,
Correct.
particularly through Health and Human Services. We really looked at that this year.
Yeah, no, it's buttoned up for next year.
Yep, Yep, we're
You
getting
won't
there.
see me a lot next year.
Yeah, no, we're
Like it.
getting it. Okay, any questions?
No.
If I could get a motion to approve a request from the Human Services Department to increase a previously approved purchase order with New Canaan Cares by the amount of $6,000.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks.
All right, Ryan and John. Fence installation.
Morning, guys.
Good morning. So the Parks Department is requesting approval to enter into contracts with Gannon Rustic Fence of New Canaan and P&C Fence of Bridgeport for fencing upgrades and repairs. Our department solicited bids from 4 fencing companies with the intent to award based on the lowest qualified bid for each of the 3 projects. The scope of work includes 1, removal and replacement of the failed fencing at the Mead pickleball courts, 2, removal and replacement of perimeter fencing at Mead Park baseball field, and 3, removal and replacement of the backstop and dugout fencing at Saks baseball field. A significant component of these upgrades includes upgrading the fence gauge from 9mm to 6mm. This change provides a thicker, more durable coated material that will enhance longevity and durability of the new fencing installations. After a thorough review of the proposals received, we recommend the following contract awards. 1, Project 1, Mead pickleball courts, and part of Project 3, Saks baseball fencing to Gannon Rustic Fence in the amount of $13,380 with a 10% contingency of $1,300, making the total $14,680. And then number 2, Project 2, Mead Park baseball field and remaining portions of Project 3, Saks baseball field fencing in the amount of $61,390 with a 10% contingency of $6,000, making the total $67,390, and that would be awarded to PNC Fence. Funding for this work is available from the Mead Park Fence and fiscal year 2024 fencing accounts.
So right. Oh, go ahead, Amy.
So the fences that you're replacing,
Mhm.
how old are they?
So the one at Mead Park is probably around 30 years old since the field
A
was.
lot over 30 years old.
Yeah, so this was something we had anticipating replacing over the span of the last 2 to 3 years now, so.
And it's not new fencing, right? This is fencing that's there. We're just replacing its old fencing. That's
It's old fencing, the post will be removed, the fencing itself will be removed, and then in the backs, the center field or left center field of Mead baseball field, there's a big backstop there. That will be removed and replaced with an 8-foot fence. The backstop is no longer used anymore, and then having the 8-foot fence would provide some safety for the playground, so.
So where's that backstop? That's all the way. in the
Left
back.
center field.
Would have been
yes,
called Skunk Hollow years
Right.
ago for whatever reason.
which they no longer use for T-ball anymore, so.
In the 67,000, that's it, which is, the first one's at the first chunk's at Mead, is that correct? And the second one is, it's Saks?
Correct. So these incorporates.
Wi-Fi problem, so I wasn't paying enough
Yeah,
attention.
I know.
I
We're both
apologize.
Trying to get our.
That's okay. So project PNC, the company that will be rewarded with the Mead Park baseball field. So that's the entire perimeter fencing of Mead Park big baseball field. And that would be replacing the posts, the fencing itself, and upgrading it to a 6-gauge material.
That's, I'm sorry, is that the,
67 also includes the Saks baseball field fencing. And that is, it involves the dugout fencing and then a part of beyond the backstop fencing that is provided for safety for the,
so is that the baseball field by South Avenue, or is that the one down by Counter Fields?
by South Avenue.
Okay.
Yes,
There's no longer one down by going towards Connor Field. There's one on Connor Field itself, but not on Saks Field. There's only the one.
Okay,
So
that's a lot of.
one
weight.
B, so the first one is, because I heard Mead, but now I'm hearing, is that the pickleball courts? So what, because you said the 67 is for the baseball field and the Saks.
correct. So
But-
there's 2 projects that are at Mead Park. One is for the Mead Park pickleball courts,
Okay.
and that is for Gannon rustic fence.
So it is pickleball. okay.
Yes,
And the other one is 67. So we're basically at Mead, the old varsity field, you're redoing all that fence.
Redoing that fence.
Right.
That
And
field will still be used.
It's gonna be used by
Yes.
JV or,
JV and summer baseball, and there's a bunch of other leagues too in town that New Canaan baseball runs. So the field will definitely be used, and
And that's just part of our normal maintenance every year. Because
Right.
we do the Saks field, then we go over there and do the Mead field. How's that backstop at the Mead field? That's still in good shape?
brand new, actually. That was replaced pretty recently.
ago,
Yeah,
they'd
maybe
say?
2 years ago.
Yeah, over the winter.
I have a question about the bids. So because this came up on a completely other project, another provider was like, had no idea that there was a bid process and things like that. Because I see we only have 2 bidders.
Mhm.
How do we notify, people that we're putting this stuff out?
So with this particular project, I reached out to 4 companies.
You did, okay.
Of the 4 companies, 2 came for a site visit. One of the 2 never actually gave a bid proposal, which I was surprised about. Maybe they were late, or it could have been really anything.
Okay.
And then 2 others did bid on the project, so.
So you do personally reach out to a number of
Correct.
companies? Good, okay.
Yes,
People that have either done work for the town
Right.
or even for the parks.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm feeling like just putting it in the paper these days is not and on our website is not the most.
so,
efficient
and
way to-
everything's on our website, like anything that's out to bid, somebody.
this one was not on our website. I seeked,
Saw it.
via phone call and email, I seeked proposals.
Should everything be?
Yeah,
up?
everything should be on the website too. So from now on, can we make sure that all of our public bids should be out on our website? In addition to, I like that you were reaching out to additional companies.
Absolutely.
I think it's important that because we're a public entity, and everything needs to be public. So
And that way, new
yes,
start businesses who
Yes.
might not know where to look, can at
Yes.
least reach out.
yes. I can tell you old businesses don't know that this is what we do, because I had a provider that provides a lot of things to various organizations in town. Stopped me when I was there for, my private business and was like, how does this work? Why, I didn't even know, and we could do this. And so I think we need to do we need to figure out a better way to communicate that, because there's a lot of providers that may want to get involved and they don't know to.
Do we have that on our landing page?
Yeah, let's say, where would you go?
It should, yeah, for Parks and Rec, because it's Tigers, it's on DPWs, but for Parks, we're gonna probably have to add that.
Okay, if,
There's a bid section. There's
So, but would Park stuff be on your bid section? So we can keep it in DPW.
Right.
But yeah, there's a. I
Does it
know.
make any sense? Well, the landing page can get pretty crowded, but just so
Yeah.
someone, it gets a little confusing for people to dig because they're like,
Yes.
it might be Department of Public Works here, or it might be infrastructure somewhere
Yeah,
else.
One place for bids
You know,
is a
And
good-
it's just like a click, and
Yeah.
and then it could just direct.
Yeah.
So
And what's the process internally? Who, like, do these guys actually post it, or would
Yeah.
it go to somebody centrally and it gets posted?
I know Tiger posts his own.
Yeah.
Do you have systems do that for you, or do you post it your own, your bids?
IT posted on.
Okay, so you give them the information. Yeah, so IT posts everything.
I think it's
That's
smart to have
easy.
one person that.
Yeah.
So it all
Yeah.
looks uniform.
Okay, we can look at that.
If you ever, I mean. I know
Yeah,
it gets-
no,
know it
I
gets
trust me,
crowded.
I got feedback recently, so we'll look at that.
And I think this will be the way people do stuff in the future. It's probably old school
Mhm,
doesn't think that way. New school
Mhm.
definitely will think this way.
mhm.
And it's just another transparency.
Yep.
Litmus test, we just want to get it all out there and make sure people know that they can bid.
Yep. Okay, all right. Any other questions?
Oh, timing. When's it get done? While school's out?
So with the irrigation upgrade at Mead Park, John and I discussed, we think it's best to have it done during that project. So before the end of August.
Into the fall, they'll be able to do,
After summer baseball's over.
because we're
Right.
probably not starting Mead irrigation until around the end of September.
Oh.
So, but they'd be able to do some, and the pickleball fence we do before that.
Yes.
That needs to be done.
Which budget? Is it 2025 budget or 2026 budget?
This is through the fiscal year 2024 fencing, and then the other account is Mead Park fence.
Which is older than
I
that.
think, yeah.
Old capital
Money. We did
projects.
not request any fence money in this year's capital budget.
Because
We
we-
have been looking at about 60,000 a year, but we had money left over, so we did not request. anything.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Is the height of a pickleball fence the same as a tennis court, or can you get away with a lower?
It's about the same height.
Because
The one
doesn't bounce nearly as high.
doesn't, what's happening with the pickleball? It's the people. If they back up and go into the fence, so they're bowing it. So we're
Oh.
putting up a much stronger fence, much a thicker gauge.
We have some-
Serious
we have-
players.
we have some aggressive pickleball players.
Shocking.
All right.
Okay. If there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Parks and Recreation Department to enter into two contracts as follows. Gannon Rustic Fence for $13,380 plus a contingency of $1,300 for a total of $14,680, and PNC Fence for $61,390 plus a contingency of $6,000 for a total of $67,390. The project entails fencing work at Mead Park pickleball courts, Mead Park baseball field, and Saks baseball field.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
We had to go over to the guest net. We had to get off Mnet and get on a guest net. Yeah, no.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, because okay.
It's that time of the year. Actually, it was
Okay.
that time of the year a few weeks ago, but we just didn't make it in time. And I wanted to bring in the complete list. So we're looking to hire 94 seasonal employees for both Steve Banko Pool and Kiwanis Park, and then also for our summer camps, our 6-week summer camp program. All of these employees, at today's date, of the 94 employees we're requesting to hire, 92 have finished their background checks. We have 2 to go. So neither one of those 2 will start work until the background checks are finished. We do not do background checks on anybody under 18 because it comes back with no data. So, and we have not had to remove any from our list that haven't passed a successful background check at this point in time. So this list is for our lifeguards, swim team, supervisors for the pool, the attendants, and then camp counselors and the supervisors for the camp. So
What percentage of the 94 are under 18?
I don't have it exactly, but the easy way is the ones in yellow, so I say about half
Okay.
are under 18. So, our supervisors are over 18 for all our camps and that, but we have a lot of people that will start in high
So this
school.
would be really impacted by SB6.
Definitely for our summer camp, for our 18 people there. If that does pass, there'll be two ways it will impact us. They're gonna have to be older. Yeah, we can still hire under 18, but we need more supervisors, more camp counselors that are over 21. It will also affect on the cost of the background checks, where we'll be going from basically under $30 to $88 at present. And our background checks turn around in 24 hours. So we know right off the bat. Right now, they're looking at a 2-week backlog with the system that the state is requiring. And if you add everybody, every other town,
Have you followed? I haven't followed if that.
it's still sitting out there. They passed the budget, so they've got more time now. I think they have till either tomorrow night at midnight or Thursday.
So you want to expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, why don't, you know what, I want to give John a lot of credit because he brought the issue to my attention and I'm sure your organization probably all has been talking about, it, but he wrote a very thoughtful letter and he wrote it to Lucy? No, CC. See, because she was one of the sponsors of the bill. And then I forwarded it to the rest of our legislators. So thank you, John, for alerting us to this issue.
I don't have my notes in front of me, but very, very simply, Senate Bill 6 would make the town become a licensed summer camp. And then the main things that would do that to us is the number of bathrooms. We would have to rent portable bathroom trailers for Waveney Outdoor Summer Camp, where we haven't had issues with the number of bathrooms we have anyways, but there's requirements on that. Background checks, we do them all for our employees. So that's not a problem, but the state requires only 2 vendors that do them. And at almost $90 a background check to be done when we're getting the same exact information. So there's other small things in there, but what we look at is it would probably raise the cost to our campers of $104 at today's numbers per session. So about 30-something thousand dollars that we have to pass the cost on to somebody. So that would be passed on to our campers and require us, it would require more work on our part because there's some admin work on what we have to do with medical people on staff, that type of stuff. I hope it doesn't pass because I don't have a problem with requiring everybody to have background checks. You've probably heard about Bethany. There was a problem where the Board of Ed removed an employee and unfortunately the Recreation Department kept him on staff and he shouldn't have been. That's why we do background checks on our people anyways. So with that said, we'll see you in the next couple of days.
I mean, the beauty of all of our programs is keeping the cost down, so it's affordable for all. And that goes back. Steve Banker used to hammer about that. Keep the cost down so anybody can go to these. And
unfortunately, our costs go up. We want to keep them affordable for everybody. And I'd hate for parents to have to make the choice. Okay, we got to figure something else for daycare for one session, that type of thing.
Right, because $100 and one child might not seem like an inordinate amount, but when you have 4 kids
Per session.
Yeah, per session. How many sessions do you run? 3. So, it could be like $1,200, for a family of 4 if they have 4 kids in camp.
The other part is we'll be in a tough time. We'd be okay right now, but a supervisor, any of our supervisors, our camp directors need in our camp 3 years of experience before they could be in that position. So we'd probably be in a position where we'd be needing to draw these supervisors from other camps. So.
I think it's one of those
Well-intended.
and because you have strong systems in place, it won't really raise the standards for us.
This is why I always tell the legislators, please, when you come up with a great idea, please talk to the people that it's going to impact because you don't always think through all the impacts of what you think it's a great idea. One person gets in your ear and then you don't realize the downstream effects. So
The Park and Rec Association, the CRPA, has been active in this with lobbyists, and it's really 3 lines in the bill that we like stricken or changed. So hopefully well, right now, it's probably too late to change it. So it will depend if it comes to vote or if it's voted down.
Okay.
Can I ask you one other question with our lifeguards and stuff? So I had a kid who did lifeguard for a while, and it's like, on the one hand, you're scheduled to be a lifeguard, and then it used to be like it rained and all of a sudden, you have to keep your time open, but then they can cancel you at any time. And even though this is in the budget to pay for the lifeguards, what do we do with our lifeguards? Like if you're supposed to have a 4-hour shift and inclement weather, I mean, do they just get, how do we do that? Because there's one of those things, you want a commitment on one side.
Yep.
And, it's not, the money's already there.
The money's there to pay them. We
Yes.
figured that out. So we pay them if they stay. And if we close, they need to
So
show
you'll
up.
have jobs for them to do if they show up. There.
Okay, that's fine.
Yep, that's
That
good.
works. That works.
Yeah, if they don't show up, they don't get paid, but if
That's fine.
they show up,
That's fine.
then they get paid. That's.
It's
I'm
a little
good
different.
with
Your
that.
policy has evolved, so that's good.
That's good.
Evolved,
Yep.
like that word?
Okay.
Yeah, and thank you for all, you look through the names of these, this list, and so many local families and kids that have summer jobs. It's a big deal. We've done this for years. It's such a great position. And, Amy, you mentioned it. It's like a first job for a lot of these kids. It's very exciting.
You gotta show up.
Got to show up.
You gotta commit the time. There you go. And we, as an employer, are good employers, the flip side.
Yep.
So that's good.
Try to treat them the way we'd like to be treated ourselves
Precisely. It's like
a
that.
few years ago.
All right. So,
And before we vote, just full disclosure that I do have a nephew on this list.
Yes.
So just so everybody knows, I want to make sure that that's clear.
Do you want to vote again?
would you like to recuse yourself?
No.
Okay. All right. So if there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Parks and Recreation Department to hire 94 summer part-time employees for the 2025 summer recreation season.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, let's see. Waveney House Bride and Groom's Rooms.
Okay.
We have, just so everyone knows, there is an edit to the cost. And just for your knowledge, the bride's room is up to 5109.35 Tucker. The groom's room is up to 8989.95. 5% contingents. Oh, you reduced the contingency.
I really reduced the contingency.
And then the total is 14,299.30. I can give you this information later,
I
but just,
got a copy for her.
oh, perfect. Okay, great.
So
All right, so with that,
I'm here with B. Watkins, who spent a lot of time, and Rachel, I think, is online, the wedding coordinator. The reason for the edits, with everything going on in the world, the price changes happened a little bit as of yesterday. So that's why we adapted. It's a lot of fun. But we're looking for approval to enter into a contract with Raymore and Flanagan for furniture for the brides and grooms rooms. This is for the new brides and grooms rooms. We're doing some substantial updates on these rooms. We've got them painted in a nice neutral cashmere color.
Both rooms are
Both rooms, same color.
Good.
So, but B and Rachel have done the lion's share of all this work. I basically wrote a memo and just went through the stuff with them, but I needed their artistic and decorating ability. So.
Well, we basically were stuck with just a few vendors that we could work with based on our tax exempt status. So we narrowed it down to Raymore and Flanagan having the most product that we were interested in. And they've been working with us diligently over months now, but we're hoping to bring it to closure and update the rooms. We haven't had any furniture update at all since 2012. And then in 2017, we just simply did some upholstery cleaning and new rugs where needed. So it's time. The furniture has been well used, and some updates are required. We have some lighting that was put in after the IT room was fixtures were all removed. So we're ready to just really make the rooms what they are based on the fact that our wedding schedule is off the charts. And people are, really craving to come to Waveney, so we want to offer them the best look.
We have some nice photos in our,
Yeah, B, thanks for the presentation and the photos of everything and the layout. It's a very thorough look at the what you're proposing. So thank you for that.
So you'll be using some existing pieces that we have along with it.
Yes.
You're not buying everything for you.
Yeah, not everything.
And what do we have? Other rugs? Other rugs on both already? Do we already have those?
We're going to continue to use the same rugs
Okay.
that we have. So we've kind of
Looked around that.
they picked the
Worked
colors to
around
coordinate.
that.
There you
We
go.
went through it.
They picked the colors.
Yes, I
coordinate.
Okay.
John voted on the side. But yeah, so we, there's some large furniture that was donated over the years or left there that will remain in place, maybe switch rooms, but and then there are a lot of built-ins, so we didn't have to add a lot of that kind of furniture. It's really more for comfort and leisure while they await the nuptials.
Big and open right now with
Yeah.
nowhere to sit.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming these guys, they do quick turnaround, like your deliveries.
Yeah, a
super
lot of
fast,
these,
right?
a lot of the product we can get within 5 days, and then the others will be within 3 to 5 weeks. So I think we'll have enough to get started, and we'll substitute with what we own, and be happy to show everyone the final picture when it gets there.
Over
Yeah,
and check it out.
Sure.
Check it out.
Great.
Having had somebody get married last year, I remember how much time you spend in that room.
You
Just-
do.
You spend a lot of time in there.
And it's become part of the whole day now. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
So having recently had the post prom party there, which is an annual event, great event. How does, I know when all the high school kids come in for the night, how do we move all this furniture out and put it
do.
someplace safe and?
Well, most of it goes into the conference room.
Okay.
Conference room.
That fits.
My office gets filled up with furniture for the weekend. Yeah,
So-
but we don't leave it for the kids to use per se.
Right. So, I mean, that's probably of every event we have every year. And we, this is obviously a tradition since, before me even. So
Right.
it's great. It's a great event, but it's very tough on the building. I mean, obviously there's a lot that happens that night. So
Yeah. We had a little bit of problems, and we're going to have a wall repainted after
yeah,
this
I
last
mean,
one.
I don't know that we've ever had a post prom party there where we haven't had either a bathroom issue or so. It's just, there's so many people.
Sure,
there. It's a tough one on the building, but
Yeah. But the
It's-
schools pay for that.
Yeah.
Out of the PTC.
yeah, they'll
We
pay for
don't, this town does not cover that.
Okay.
So,
The
which I
repaint-
think is fair. I
Wear
mean,
and
if they
tear.
want to,
Yep, yep,
use it heavily, they can.
Similar to a wedding where
Right.
there's a performance bond. So
Right.
but that's like having 5 weddings at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Very, very young weddings, very young weddings.
Yeah.
With prefrontal
Things wouldn't be
cortex
good
is
with-
not fully developed yet. So,
right. But I mean, it's obviously the payoff and benefit of having the post prom party is you'd never trade that. So it's just a small cost of, doing business. So, but I was just concerned as we put all this new furniture in there, hopefully it's.
yeah.
we can
My
keep
first
it for a few
question was,
years.
what color is it? 'Cause
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
see wine or champagne or something, but.
All right.
In the source of funds is the bride and groom rooms update. Is that, did we fund that out? Was it from
I
the
think it's-
town
is that the
or was
wedding?
it from within the wedding? Is the
Okay.
wedding?
I believe that's through the town.
Through the
but
town?
I'm not
I think it was the
positive.
capital.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
in,
I-
it's in,
I-
it's a
Emily-
capital account.
It was in the capital. so
Yeah,
now-
I
okay.
think looking forward, we should consider
Yeah.
if this does kick, I think it was 30,000 last year net revenues. I think to the
Yeah.
extent we need stuff
Yeah, it's
for this,
easily
it
covered
should cover
with this.
in the future.
Yeah, that's there. I mean, it would,
Yes.
that's perfect. That's perfect use.
Okay.
Okay.
Not that you'll be decorating again.
Well, if we have a lot of volume, it takes a
Really,
lot.
I might have to move on to a new career.
All right.
You're not going to be.
So if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Parks and Recreation Department to enter into a contract with Raymore and Flanagan in the amount of $13,554. Oh, wait.
Nope.
Nope.
Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't, this was updated in
The-
this one.
the
Sorry,
total of the-
start over. I got it.
Who do you want that?
Yes.
Okay, $14,099.30.
Thank you. Sorry, I should have done that before I started. Okay, starting over, or actually just approving a contract with Raymore and Flanagan in the amount of $14,099.30 plus a contingency of $200 for a total project cost of $14,229.10 to provide furniture for the brides and grooms room at Waveney House.
So
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you for all that. I know it's a lot of work.
And John.
Okay.
And Rachel.
Exchange Club MOU.
I'm going to let you go.
Oh, okay. So in front of you have an MOU that the town is working with the Exchange Club, and we're very appreciative of their ability and their willingness to do this. So on our Park and Rec side, we're looking at changing and upgrading our credit card system, get a point of service, increase service to people in the lines because they experience a lot of lines close to selling tickets. So we're in the process of that, but we won't have it done in time for the fireworks on the 4th. So the Exchange Club is stepping in to help us, and they're going to use their system to be able to take those payments for us to make it simpler for people. So we developed an MOU between the Exchange Club, their board approved it. It went through our legal to make sure on the town side in going through this. And I believe it's 4 or 5 different times they're going to take it. The 21st, the 22nd, and then the run up to the 4th. There's going to be a location, and I believe it's at the pool, two dates at the pool, so that people have that ability to just do basically the tap and pay. They have a good accounting structure for us to be able to get the reporting for us and how that money is going to be sent over to us on an annual basis. So this is a really, really good thing that they're helping us with, and very appreciative of making that simpler for residents as we work. We should by next year have our own system in place.
Unfortunately, our system right now with the security, you have to type in somebody's name and address and phone number as it appears on their credit card, or it won't go through. So this allows basically tap to pay. So that's grabbing all that information without having to re-enter it.
So will they physically handle the passes at the point of sale? So you'll tap and then
They'll get a pass. So we do it. John lives through it all the time. Every year for the audit, they have to account for every single pass. So they have to have them numbered. You know, this person got 100. We need to get either 100 back or the equivalent of the cost of it. And then they do all the accounting to make sure that everything lines up of how many passes went out.
Are we talking physical passes or is it QR code?
Physical passes.
Right now, physical.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So this is just basically, if you're a resident, you don't see Exchange Club. You just see the front facing New Canaan, or is it? Or
It's
will
a
it say?
handheld machine that they have that they're just going to tap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're going to have their person up there supporting it.
Got it.
They'll still have the same process is still with Stewart's. That process is still in place. People can still go there to get the pass, but this is just to streamline that credit card payment for our residents.
Got it.
Stewart's especially needs people there just before the 4th.
Right.
When the forecast is looking good, that's when a lot of people.
Well, you get a line out the door. You can't even get in the get in the market because there's people waiting to.
Really?
So we don't have any online paying yet, right?
No, there is,
Yes,
John, if you
you
want,
can-
you
you
can
can-
still
you-
pay online.
You could go online now through our rec system, and at this point in time, we'll mail them to you. As you get close to the date, you'd have to come in and pick it up. You can also, people come in the office and they'll.
Maybe next year it'll be like a QR code and you won't even have to show up.
The-
Maybe
the-
we
the
use
har-
that.
We want the technology to be able to
Yeah.
do that.
The hard
but-
part for like a QR code is for the cars when they're driving in. We can't slow down the line, so that's why we want them to have a physical
Okay.
pass.
Tapping in carburetors doesn't even use a QR code. They use a
Okay.
physical pass because of that reason.
All right, that's a
It's
good reason.
hard to, it's hard to get people through with the QR code.
Yep, got it. I can understand.
So
Got a big bottleneck.
So when you buy one of these passes, obviously we're checking to see if they're a resident based on their address of.
exactly, and that's why when they go through our system, we've already captured whether they're a resident or not. Yeah. So
Right. Okay. It sounds like you've got some good checks and balances there.
this will help with all our lines.
That's great.
So,
Thank you I know it was not easy. It was not easy. So
The
thank you.
Exchange Club has been great.
Great,
You know,
yeah.
we
We've been
partner
really-
with
thank
them
you.
selling ice cream the day of. And they do that part of the work. We do the organization, and between the fireworks and the Exchange Club, we basically split the profits. So it works out well.
Yeah, they have a
They're a
big
good partner.
presence there. They have a huge tent in the middle of the lawn there. And there are so many guys that volunteer their time that day to cover it. It's really, Exchange Club does a lot of good work.
Okay.
All right, great.
If there are no further questions, if I could get a motion to approve a memorandum of approve a request from the Finance Department and the Recreation Department to approve a MOU with the New Canaan Exchange Club to allow for the temporary use of an on-site electronic payment system belonging to the Exchange Club to support the annual July 4th fireworks event.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay. All right, highway.
Morning, good morning. So this is, we'll begin our fiscal year 26 purchases for the highway department. So we have a series of blanket purchase orders for various items across the spectrum of needs for the department. We took a look at last year's expenditures and adjusted accordingly for this year's costs. I don't know if you want me to run through each one or it's about half a dozen or so.
Sorry, the one question, with these, I mean, you know, prices keep jumping all around. I mean, is much of the stuff imported, do you know? I mean, because you're doing your best guess. I'm not criticizing that, but you know, this stuff.
Oh, you're worried about whether tariffs?
Uh-huh.
It's still a moving target.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
and some are imported, some are locally made or, you know, US made, but still at that point in time, you don't know, you know, overall, was it just a pure part? Or did it come from
Yeah.
overseas to here to be manufactured, then created?
And they still could up the price because I've had stuff that's domestic and they're, you know, they
Everyone's
have it in
taking-
stock, but they still upped it. Yeah.
Everyone's taking advantage.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
okay.
doesn't matter where the product or service is created or manufactured.
Okay.
Would you like me to run through each one? Run through each
Uh,
one or?
And no, I think,
Okay.
yeah,
it's pretty
I don't think so.
straightforward.
All right, so any questions? All right, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Highway Department to purchase the following goods and services for FY 26. New Canaan Auto Parts, $60,000. Granger, $14,000. East Coast Signs, $20,000. One Vac, $20,000. O&G Industries, $20,000. Ballard and Alley Tires, $15,000. Madison Supplies, $40,000. Olsonello Fuels, $12,000. It's unanimous. All
Thanks.
right, thanks.
Thanks.
All right, pest control. Yeah, I'm getting my, what are they called? They're all over my computer in my, at my office.
The little red ones,
Yes.
the corner buildings historically been a problem.
It's
I think it comes from all the
disgusting.
bushes and the trees
Those
out
little
there.
red things you see on your terraces, now they're all over my computer.
Really?
Many
It's
things.
disgusting.
I'm not sure I know.
They like, they like,
Okay.
they like the
Don't bring them
selectman's
up.
office for some reason, because I don't have anywhere else in Bowling, just your office.
Yeah, it's red. They're red. They
Careful,
leave
you
a
got a yellow
red
jacket on.
stain. I know today.
Yeah,
All right, sorry, I digress.
Well, some things are just hard to control, I guess.
Yeah.
So our first request here is for pest control. ABC Exterminator has been on board for several years now, and we'd like to renew their contract to continue servicing all our buildings for pest control and rodent control in certain locations. Request is for $17,000, 351.88. 10% contingency comes to total of 19,087.07. Contingency is primarily used when we have bee problems and going after bees, nests and what have you.
So is this for all our buildings for the entire year?
Yeah, there's a breakdown.
Yeah.
I think,
That's a lot of buildings. and-
Yeah, they're monthly. They do a
cover-
monthly service. They come here with bait traps and use everything that's safe to the people and everything. So there's never been any issue.
Yeah.
They got it under control. Except
Except for
for
clover mice.
except for COVID mites, which are very, some things you just can't tack. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Kind of like the stink bugs. They don't really get rid of those either.
Right.
yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, any questions?
Nope.
If not, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with ABC Exterminating in the amount of $17,351.88 plus a contingency of $1,735.19 for a total cost of $19,087.07. Project entails exterminating services for town buildings.
Second,
It's unanimous.
Bill, you might want to suggest they might want to check out her office first, just saying.
Yeah, and Tucker's. The two of us.
I'll take care of you. I'll go check your office.
Take care of that.
We'll take a look. Our next request is for town hall exterior painting. It's been 10 years since we've opened up our new building here already, believe it or not.
Wow.
And the area and the old building up around the top, all the trim work was actually painted concrete and sealed. And it's starting to fail. It's 10 years. It's good. It's good run 10 years to get that much out of it. We went out for, got some proposals, and we'd like the approval to contract with Sietra Pro Painters in the amount of $21,810, plus a contingency of $2,180. Total price will be $23,990. This is a new firm I never used before, but we did meet with them, went over everything. They seem to be pretty thorough. Good try.
Any questions?
Yeah, I mean, that's Certapro is a, like a franchised, yeah.
Yeah, they're nationwide franchise. So this particular one is out of Bedford, New York.
Okay.
And you have references for them?
They give me a whole list of every
Yeah,
kind of
okay.
stuff. Yeah, it's like a boilerplate thing they sent out to me. It's
Okay.
a lot of information.
Give it a
Alright.
try.
So if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Certapro Painters in the amount of $21,810 plus a contingency of $2,180 for a total project cost of, can I ask you, when I get a paint job, I just get a price. Like, why would we need a contingency on a paint job?
Unforeseen things, if they find a little rot here or there, that has to be bundled up or something. Those affects some things we just can't see, like up top. So
Okay. All right, so in the amount of $21,810 plus a contingency of $2,180 for a total project cost of $23,990.
So moved.
Second,
It's unanimous.
just, is 26 budget or 25 budget for this one? Thank you.
next item up there is now Gore's Pavilion painting. Request from Public Works to enter a contract with Aladdin Services in the amount of $7,900 plus contingency of $790 for a total project cost of $8,690. Entails power washing, scraping, and prepping and painting the Gore's Pavilion. Again, we went out and received proposals for this, and it's the opposite this time. Aladdin Service came in as the low number.
When was this last painted?
About 8 years ago, I think it was 7 or 8 years ago.
And again, so,
During when they did their renovation. I
They did,
believe.
when we did the roof, actually. We did the roof. It's a, it requires a little more maintenance on the painting end because of the type of materials that are on that building, and it's historic in nature. So we have to keep up with the maintenance on it. It was a challenge from way back when, around Storm Sandy, when that building was shadowed for many years with all the pine trees. Sandy took care of that for us.
Yeah.
So it's a little challenge.
just with Gore's, again, it's just one of these buildings. It's a town building. We have to maintain it. Historical.
We maintain the exterior,
Right.
the Historical Society maintains the interior.
Right, but I think it's, again, we would, if it was a heating issue and stuff, that's us, right? Like we do all the buildings, or no, just the
No.
exterior?
The
No,
exterior.
it's on them. We just take care of the exterior. We actually sat down, I think, back in January and went through the roles and responsibilities on that building with the Historical Society. And we revised it to reflect that we'll do the exterior, you guys on the inside.
Period. So do we have, does that mean we have windows? We have windows? Do we have roof? I mean,
I can't recall off the top of my head. The roof is good. It's just been put on. The
I know.
windows, I don't
It was
recall how
expensive.
we handled the windows there. But it's, windows can be subjective, or the interior or exterior, I guess, beside its room you're standing in. But the exterior for the
The
painting,
Split cost.
it's just,
painting was definitely on us on this one here. So
Yeah, we just always have these, we have a, whole series, of these complicated relationships, and it's like, I'm always curious how Gores is actually used, except for it's a visual, it's a visual, but I know, like, I think that like the main room you don't ever use because you don't want to do on the period furniture. I'm just kind of curious how
Well,
it's used.
I don't know their schedule now,
It's used
but for the
much.
summer, they've had it open 4 hours a day, I think 4 or 5 days a week. And I believe it tour
Like a museum.
for the, when they do the glass house, that when the groups come in, that's all part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know the current program. We check with their security and ask her.
So that must be a special ticket, because when I did the glass house, I did not go see the.
Yeah,
Course
I don't
pavilion.
know.
That's
I
not
don't know
part
how
of
they
glass.
did it. I know it
Yeah.
was at one
Glass
point.
House is not part of the Historical Society. It's
Right.
a totally separate not-for-profit, so they don't include Gore's Pavilion in their tour.
You mean they just
I didn't even drive by.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we also opened up the ability for them to do a little bit more event type stuff there with, I think was your approval,
Yeah.
board
The
approval.
problem is there's all kinds of restrictions with the park, and so park restrictions restrict the use of Gore's Pavilion. So, we may have to,
Think of it.
yeah.
But anyhow, we'll get it painted looking good and preserve it.
Okay.
So it's a small building. This is really like the trim almost. It's because.
Well, it's got the painted siding on it.
It's siding.
It's
It
a
has siding.
clapboard type of siding on it. But it's not a big building. And, it reflects in the price. I mean, it's not much money to paint the building, to be honest with you, with prepping it and scraping it down, power washing, then painting it.
And that'll give us what? How many years?
8 to 10, we try to get out of painting some of these older buildings are harder to keep up with painting, as
True.
you know, just because they're older. Newer buildings are easier to maintain.
All right.
All right, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Department of Public Works to enter into a contract with Aladdin Services in the amount of $7,900 plus a contingency of $790 for a total project cost of $8,690. The project entails the power washing, scraping, prepping, and painting of the exterior of the Gore's Pavilion.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous.
Thank you very much.
All right, tree warden.
So the tree warden went out for his latest bid. It was 15 separate locations. We sent it out to our 6 bidders on the list. Received 2 back. Olmsted was the low bid at $35,658. And looking at the list, there's only one tree of note per se. That's at on South Avenue at the center school parking lot, where the large horse chestnut that is decaying will be removed and the stump will be ground. The monies are available in his current budget, and we recommend that it goes to Olmsted Tree and Shrub for $35,658.
Sounds good.
Questions? All right, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the tree warden to enter into a contract with Olmsted Tree and Shrub Care in the amount of $35,658. The project entails the removal, pruning, and stump removal of various trees in town.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. All right. Highway Department roadside mower parts.
So this next one is an increase to a previously approved PO. The previous approved amount was $8,527.90. The quote for additional mower parts, roadside mower parts, the teeth specifically for the roadside mower is $2,178, which puts us $705.90 over what the first selectman can approve. That's why we're in front of you today. The monies are available in our highway repairs mobile equipment account, and unfortunately, teeth for the mower are it's one of the expendable parts. I don't know if you have anything to add on that, Lou, or no?
No, yep.
A lot cheaper to fix them than buy new ones.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But it's like changing a blade on a mower, right? It's the teeth on the roadside mower is basically the blades. So
Right.
it's, yeah.
How long would those last? But I guess it depends on what you're hitting.
Depends where you're at,
How many rocks you
Michigan
hit?
Road, for example, there's a million rocks up there. He gets
Sharpen it, it kind of tears it up.
state, they could probably get all year out of them because they're like little manicured,
Yeah.
along the highways. We're up against, ledge and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, they could last for a couple months, they could last all year, or they could last one day. You never know.
All right.
All right.
Any other questions?
Nope.
If not, if I could get a motion to approve a request from the Highway Department of Public Works to increase a blanket purchase order with Tri-County Contractor Supply in the amount of $2,178.90, added to the previous approval amount of $8,527.90, for a total cost to date of $10,705.90. The project is for repairs of the mowers and fleet.
So
Second.
I have a question. So we're just starting the summer mowing season. So are we going to be seeing you back for the same thing?
We'll be back for next year's purchases, yeah, for Tri-County.
But that'll be closer to the end of the fiscal, so that'll be for the fiscal.
That'll be
year.
for fiscal 26.
Right.
This was still a fiscal 25 purchase to
Okay.
get us to the, that's why we tripped the 10,000.
Okay.
So yes,
Yep.
you'll see a purchase order. Actually, you might even be in your under 10,000 that you'll see.
Okay,
Because we separated the two on it. So
Okay.
yeah, then but yeah, you'll be seeing that shortly.
Lou, how do you tell your guys not to hit things? Do you instruct them before they?
Things.
Yeah. Don't.
Happy to hit
Yeah.
things, just saying.
Maybe a little tasty, actually.
There's in the 10,000 for next year, in the under 10,000, there's a $7,500 PO for Tri-County that you'll see shortly.
It's easier to get out early because it's everything's much more visible.
Right.
So now we're, as it gets 2 or 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
That's when it really becomes a problem.
There are rocks everywhere.
There are.
They're just everywhere.
Can't mow your yard without hitting a rock. I mean, it's-
Right.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, and then you should have on your tablets, the contracts under 10,000.
Yeah, one thing that jumped out at me, it's fine, but I'm wondering, we talked about in terms of the brides and grooms room, the Waveney House number for the equipment for China and flatware. I mean, I know that's not used just for weddings, but
Right.
maybe as we think about
Yeah.
going forward, maybe that's an appropriate use
Yep.
for any excess revenues.
Right, the Waveney Fund, like using stuff like this, like, we bought the chair, things like that. That's a very good point. We should be drawing that excess cash out of that fund to, pay for stuff like
offset the
this.
hospitality stuff. Now, I
Yeah.
know a lot of community people use Waveney all the time and
Mhm.
use this stuff and just on a go forward, not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily for this year, but just go forward. Maybe that would be a good use of this.
Yeah, I think that's
So-
an excellent idea. That's an
So
excellent-
that amount is an entirely new set that's going in, and we're like out with the old in with the new, or?
I think it was like
We have a lot
a
of
bunch of
additions, yeah.
sets. It was like a bunch of sets. I remember signing it. It was a bunch of sets.
Sorry. Unfortunately, I missed the first
cutlery,
part.
The cutlery.
Yes, of course, it disappears over time, anything from being dumped into a trash can to
Yeah.
somebody carrying a plate out. So it's that type of stuff. So we haven't replaced anything for a while.
Yeah, because that's a pretty big number that you'd think that would cover.
Oh.
You're not buying like fine china, you're buying.
Well, when that number was first developed, there was a desire to have the logo on our china. Looking into that, we don't think it's a good idea. We think we'll be replacing china all the time because everybody will want just that one plate. And it will sit around somebody's house and we'll never see it again. So we
Yeah,
think the
you'll see it
standard
later.
plates,
Yeah.
yes, there's breakage and everything, but there's not the desire to have it sitting in your house from where your wedding was, that type of thing.
So the stuff we're buying, is it gonna be, are we buying all new stuff or are we buying stuff because there's a lot of places. And so
Yeah.
what do we actually
This was-
acquire? Yeah.
Supplementing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we're
so.
not replacing
Is
everything.
it gonna match?
Very close, enough that you will not see the difference. Unless you're really looking for it, but you wouldn't come to
Fill
a
up the
table and go,
plate.
oh, no.
Okay.
So,
I know, well,
if you walk up to a table, you wouldn't say, oh, this is new, that's old.
Yeah, one's not black, one's white. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. I just,
Question.
all right. Any other questions?
That's it.
All right.
yeah, I do have a question. Sorry about that. So when Waveney is rented out either to a nonprofit or, we know what we do for the weddings, right? So, you have a funeral there or something. The rental amount for that, where does that go? What fund is that? Does that just go your general fund for you guys?
That goes into the self-sustaining weddings section.
Okay,
Anything that comes in that way, yes.
right. Yeah, because I mean, every time you turn around, you're doing some, it's not a lot of money, but it does add up over time. So that feeds into that pot. Is it the $30,000 pot? We talked about the weddings netting 30,000. Is there other money also that comes into that fund? Like,
Yeah.
you know, from like,
Weddings and events is what you should think
Weddings and
about it,
events.
not just weddings.
okay,
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, if there's a after hours function, we're basically covering our costs
Right.
of our manpower, that type of stuff, but there's still a little bit of extra coming in.
Okay.
For that, but those are community-based things.
Mhm.
Like if somebody's coming from New York City, they cannot get the same rate, so to speak, as if it was for not a,
Staying put's gonna be there on Thursday. So.
exactly.
They
They
pay a modest.
they pay a modest thing.
There we go.
Yes, nonprofits in
and
New
it is
Canaan.
modest, you
Yeah.
know, and you have all the services of getting things
Right.
set up. It's,
Right.
which is
Right.
good. We're not trying to make money on
No,
this.
no,
I'm
no,
just,
no.
but if we do get a little extra money going into it, that money is a great use of it, is to replenish what we have.
And we have booked a lot more weddings. We will have more money coming in there, and I think it's a perfect way. You know, if
Yeah.
the money's coming in and we need to do something, why not spend it from there?
What the schools do with their enterprise funds.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what it's for. It's to,
Or the pool fund or whatever.
yep, exactly.
So, all right.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Maybe you'll come back, I'll see. All right, and then you have the tax overpayments on your tablets. Any questions? If I could get a motion to approve refunds or tax overpayments.
So moved.
Second.
It's unanimous. Okay, so for selectmen comments, we have birthday in the room. So it's
Two.
Tiger's birthday. Oh, two. Well, Ann's was this weekend. So happy birthday. Tiger's is today. So
birthday,
happy
Tiger.
birthday. And then again, just want to reiterate the comment made earlier about the Memorial Day parade and how great it was. And, you know, thanks to everybody in town that helped make it such a great success. And then would like to, it's been a week, but it was after our last selectmen's meeting, wanted to just note the passing of two sort of important town volunteers. Keith Ritchie passed unexpectedly 2 Thursdays ago. And then, and Rick Franco actually passed, I think the same day or the next day. So big losses to the community, and our thoughts and prayers go out to their families. So that is it for me. Anything else?
Oh, just
Oh, and congratulations to the entire Carl family on the recent nuptials of their son.
Yep, number four son just married on Friday. So
Yes.
very happy about that.
So we like to end on a high note.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So if I could get a motion to adjourn.
So.
It's unanimous.
All right.